Voice-based search. 5 key things your small business must absolutely know. Experts predict that by 2025, 75% of all web searches will be voice conducted, meaning that searches will be increasingly localized. Consequently, businesses large and small must start focusing or refocusing on their content and SEO in order to respond to voice assisted inquiries. As a small business owner, you can meet voice-based search demand by crafting properly flowing natural content, using basic SEO tactics, and optimizing your company's website for mobile. Watch the show to learn how to do it. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. How are you doing today? I hope you are doing fantastic. Today, I want to talk to you about voice-based search, 5 key things your small business must absolutely know. Number 1, understand what voice search is and how it differs from text search. Voice search is the voice recognition technology that allows people to make searches by speaking into a device. So you have voice assistants then respond to your request for information, for finding and calling a contact in your phone, to looking up the nearest train station relative to your current location. The most common voice assistants are Siri found on iOS devices and Google Assistant for most other Android handsets. You also have Cortana and Amazon Alexa. Initially, the differences between text search and voice search are kind of obvious. One is typed into a keypad, the other is spoken into the microphone. But there is more than that. Research shows that there is a world of difference between how we communicate with our voices and what we type into our search bars. One thing you have to understand is that voice has longer and more conversational queries. So given that voice assistants are personable, we tend to respond by using similarly natural language. So we are typically much more conversational and use much longer form queries. When using a computer keyboard, we're often second guessing which keywords will most likely throw up the best results. So we can experiment with formal and concise keyword phrases. Another thing to think about is that voice search tends to focus on question phrases and more, therefore shows intent, right? Because humans typically tend to be more natural in the language we use in voice search. We tend to ask questions and so use longer phrases. Those questions also use words to show intent, such as when, where, who, what, and why. Voice search has high local value. This is why this is very important for small businesses. Voice searches are most commonly done on the move, which means that they're more likely to include local search keywords like near me, where, when, nearest, or names of towns in cities. Voice search greatly impacts third-party listings. Now, because as I said, voice search is typically more local focused, they tend to turn up results from third-party listings or review sites such as Google My Business, TripAdvisor, Yelp. So voice search, let me just give you an example. Let's give an example of voice search versus text search. Say we want to find the nearest train station. We'd usually type into a search bar something like train station. Even queries including near me have been down, However, if we were to talk to Google Assistant, it would go something like this. Hey Google, where is the nearest train station to me? So the phrase, hey Google, where's the nearest train station to me is a question. It is formal. It is conversational. It uses natural language. It shows intent. And most importantly, it has local value, right? The nearest, the term nearest shows local value. Similarly, if you were to say pizza place or fast food parlor, you might say, hey Google, where's the nearest pizzeria to me? Where's the nearest pizzeria to me? Right? So again, the intent here is local. We're trying to be very localized here when it comes to voice search versus text search. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. I am talking today about voice-based search, and I'm giving you 5 key things your small business must absolutely know. The first thing is you need to understand what voice search is and how it varies from text search. Now let's talk about number 2. You want to include voice search into your digital strategy. How do you do that? First, you need to familiarize yourself with the technology. I want you to familiarize yourself with some of the most common voice assistants. This way, you can start to understand the way in which your voice search inquiries work so that you'll be better able to create content to respond to these kinds of inquiries. Starting with your smartphone rather. Make use of Google Assistant or Siri, depending on whether you are on Android or iOS, and use it to look up local cafes, find places on maps, and find information on a supermarket's opening times. If you have the equipment available to you, go to Amazon Alexa or Google Home to search for day-to-day queries. Your content. Your website's content is the first place to start if you are to begin to be found in voice search. So you want to make your content relevant. You need to focus on making your content not only relevant, but locally relevant to those making voice searches. So this starts with owning your digital footprint. We have an entire show on digital footprint. But what I'm trying to say by digital footprint is that you need to make sure that all those aspects of your business that might appeal to voice queries are references on your website. From your contact details to availability of Wi-Fi and Apple Play to lunch and dinner menus. Using telephone schema, you can get your contact details picked up so that customers can call you via Amazon Alexa and Google Home. You want to focus on fewer but more local and long-tail keywords. This is something I've been stressing all throughout the show. We've already talked about the ways in which consumers search differently in voice and in text. And for these reasons, it is important that you respond by developing your keyword research. So expand gradually your keywords into long-tail question phrases. Consider the who, the what, the where, the when, the why, and the how question phrases. You want to focus on keywords and phrases that are most relevant to a local searcher. Include references to local landmarks that might be relevant to your business. You want to use modifiers such as top, best. Create specific articles that respond to the top search phrases for which your audience will be searching. And very important, a lot of small businesses don't do this. You need to create an FAQ page. Create a frequently asked, what am I talking about? FAQ page. So use natural conversational language. Now you have to understand that when consumers are looking for stuff on the internet using voice, they use more conversational vernacular when they're using voice assistant than when they're typing into a search bar. It is therefore important that your content responds. So you want to consider referencing local lingo or nicknames, or even use questions as your headings to correspond to the types of questions your audience might be asking their voice assistant. Rethinking the tone of your content so that it speaks to your local voice searcher not only helps provide the right kind of information your target audience are searching for, but it has the fortunate byproduct of making you more approachable in general, right? So you don't sound like an encyclopedia. You're just a normal, regular person. You sound conversational. You also want to create content for something called position 0. What is that? Content that appears in the position 0 in Google results or Google answer boxes are most likely to be returned to a voice search. As such, it's important you focus on the content areas that are most likely to appear in these boxes. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. I hope you are still having we're having a conversation around voice search, and if you appreciate the content's clarity and quality so far, I would advise you to please smash the like button for us, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell so you are informed in real time whenever we release a new show. We do this every single day, rain or shine. Now, the third thing you need to do, here I'm talking to you about 5 key things. And the third thing you need to do is to localize your SEO. I've said it before, voice search is more likely to be local based. It's important you stand your site in good position and you want to get it optimized for local SEO. There are several ways to do this. You want to, we'll definitely have I think it's a conversation that will take longer. It will probably take 30 minutes. So we will have an entire show. But here is a good start. Think about structured data, schema markup. So you want to ensure that your structured data is integrated into the back end of your website. And that will help your content appear at the top of search results and therefore get picked up by voice search. Get yourself a business listing. It's very important to set up and link your site to a Google My Business page, as well as local directory sites such as Yelp and third-party review sites such as TripAdvisor. Fix your site speed and get secure. Right? Nowadays, people are rushing all the time. So you have a search medium that's immediate if you have a search medium that's as immediate as voice search, it is important that your website speed is correspondingly fast. So use Google Page Speed, for example, to fix issues that are slowing your site down. Your website security is also important, given that HTTPS secured websites make up 70% of Google Home results. Make sure your site is mobile optimized. We've talked about it in several shows. It's very important to take care of responsive design, and that makes sense because there is a higher proportion of voice-based searches that are done on the move. Nobody sits on their computer and does a voice search, right? People do it on the move. People do it on the go, and it's usually through the phone. So take care of your reputation also. So the more good reviews you get, the better you'll rank in local search, right? So this starts with getting yourself listed on as many third-party review sites as possible, and then working hard to garner good reviews. You can also optimize your presence on these review sites to help towards your search ranking. Number 4, get ready for Duplex. Duplex is on the horizon. It's here. It won't be long before your business sees a wave of new kind of phone call. Very soon, you'll be picking up the phone to hear a realistic sounding voice assistant asking to make a booking. And this is Google Duplex. So from Siri on your iPhone to Cortana on your laptop to Amazon Home in your living room, the likelihood is that you are already surrounded by the voices of helpful assistants trying to make your life run smoothly. Until now, voice assistants, though, have been concerned primarily with helping users gather information. However, with Google getting ready to launch Duplex, helping customers to carry out real-world tasks like booking appointments, we're now embarking on a whole new level. It's just amazing. You have a combo of artificial intelligence, deep data learning that just gets into Duplex to give you a human-like voice. And as these technologies start to enter our lives, so too our online behaviors are changing. So you have an estimated 50% of all browsing sessions being voice conducted by 2020. And Google Duplex is getting ready to assist customers in making real-life arrangements. So it's time for your small business to really get on board. And the 5th thing you need to do when it comes to voice-based search is to understand why it's important for small businesses. Now, it is important because we live in a world where immediacy is key. People want things right now, and voice search is becoming, therefore, increasingly popular. So you have about 60% of adults who use voice search at least once a day, and 80% of smart speaker owners perform local business searches weekly. So you have, and thanks to advances in artificial intelligence, voice search is turning up ever more relevant search results, with about a 95% voice recognition accuracy rate for Google Assistant. Think about that. 95% voice recognition accuracy rate. The real value, though, of voice search for local businesses is not just that there are more people using it now than ever before, but that voice searches are 3 times more likely to be local based. Right? It's local based and it shows intent. Think about that. For a small business by nature or by default is local. Nobody knows about a small business that is international. If you have a small business that is international, you are the exception. Small businesses are usually localized. So if you have voice search showing your intent, and actually being also 3 times more likely to be local based, there is bonanza. There is an opportunity for revenue out there. So for these reasons, if your site is optimized, particularly for mobile, you're more likely to be the first site digital voice assistants will suggest in your niche. The key is to build voice search into your digital strategy immediately. All right. So this is it, folks. 5 key things your small business needs to do when it comes to voice-based search. Number 1, understand what voice search is and how it differs from text search. 2, include voice search into your digital strategy. 3, localize your SEO. 4, get ready for Duplex. 5, understand why it's so important for small businesses. I will see you another time, but until then, remember, stay marvelous.